Welcome back to Spitballin Cards. In today's video, we're going to be talking about some would you rathers of a few different players. We're going to be discussing autographs versus non-autographs and more. So let's just introduce who is here. My name is Scott. We have Ty, Chris, and Jeff. Thanks for listening and tuning in. Let's just jump into one thing. Ty, I feel like you have some really fun, exciting things that have happened this last week. I'd love to hear about it a little bit before we dive into our topics.
Yeah, so we had Culture Collision here in Atlanta. It's they've been doing that for a few years now, but then really amazing. We got to have our first big event, kind of a soft opening for Cards HQ, the new card shop that's open. It is like a mile from Truist Park, which is where the Braves play. It is in a big strip mall with like the largest AMC in Metro Atlanta. It has a main event gaming center. There's a booze store in between that and our shop. It's got everything you could ever want and more. And it is 14,000 square feet. We are moving our offices there. We have our studio there with like the glass windows so you can see. I had to record there this last week, 2 different videos. And I was so thankful that that was not my first time ever doing content and recording, because people can see what you're doing and they're actually live streaming it out into the store like the Today Show, which is really cool. They have tons of sealed wax, these awesome vertical showcases like the video game displays at like Walmart and Target, full of graded cards, thousands and thousands of graded cards. We had, I think, around 450, 500 people come through. Wow. We had to like have a line outside over the span of about 6 hours. We were set to have this trade night on Saturday from like 5:30 until 11:30. I ended up staying there until like 1:30 in the morning. We were just having an awesome time. There's a breaker arena with a custom built poker table, this cool blue lighting and cameras set up, TVs, bleachers, and people can come and watch you as you rip a box. So if you buy a box in the store, you're allowed to go over and rip the box on the poker table. You got the supplies in the store, everything you need. And then they're going to like live stream it and upload it to YouTube so that you can go back and rewatch your own break too and share it with friends. And so imagine if you are somebody who likes to buy wax and you hit something big, you literally capture that moment. Not only that, if you get gypped out of your hits, you have a record of it to send it to Topps, which they're actually now advertising, believe it or not. So that's like a separate thing that Topps is actually saying. If you get bad QC or you get you're shorted a hit, send us this email and we'll hook you up. So you get some proof of that. But overall, we had a really amazing time. They have singles. They've got dollar boxes with like really nice full backed stools and like a area where you can slide them out. Televisions, lounge, vending machines. We had food and drink. There's going to be trade nights there like monthly, if not weekly. So many cool things going on, plus all the breaker cabanas where they're going to be doing live selling. Like the environment was so awesome. This was honestly, even if I were just as an outsider, this was one of the most fun hobby community events that I've had in my in the last 4 years. It was really fun, and I am beyond ecstatic to be working there going forward pretty soon. My desk will be moved there pretty soon, I think this week. So if anybody has a chance to come down and check it out, I would definitely recommend it. I think it's going to be a destination, and I really do think it's going to kind of elevate and set the bar for a new local card shop experience, because it is a lot of fun. It's really cool.
That's awesome.
Thanks for sharing, Ty. Ty, I've got a quick question for you. I've been hearing about Cards HQ kind of revolutionizing the 24-hour selling. Is that something that's really going to happen there? And how do you see that happening?
Yeah. So one of the things they're going to sort of pilot is they have a term for it. The thing hums like a jet engine, but it's like this mobile cart, and it's got an iPad and it's got cameras and it's got all these things that they're going to like wheel through these showcases and basically show. So if somebody wants to like dial in, or I don't know, they're going to do it through Whatnot or some combination of both, to be like, this is what we've got. Here's this card. We can show you the card. We can pull stuff off the shelves, kind of like panning through the whole experience. So they're going to try that and see how it goes. And that's like the big thing is, Jeff is, he's a serial entrepreneur, but he's always just looking like, how can I improve the experience overall with whatever the thing is? And so they're going to have the live selling happening in these cabanas, which are sort of open air with televisions where you can see what's going on. But then the plan is also to be able to like walk people through the show floor, basically virtually, if you're not able to get there physically. So the whole idea is they want to do it as like everybody's local card shop. And there's obviously plenty of people not only in the US, but around the world who don't have an LCS. So this hopefully will help bridge the gap for some of those folks.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's going to be great when Chris is drinking sometimes late. He can buy some stuff now.
Yeah, that's great. That's 2 apps I have to put a lock on now.
Yeah.
Besides eBay. Yeah. Great. This is worrisome time for me personally.
So the good news is for you guys and for those who I'm know well, as I learn people's tastes and things that they're after that's more obscure, right? I'll have like fresh set of eyes on inventory as it's coming in. And I've already been talking to Ryan and Carter about like, do you guys have any plans to get like wish lists, like bounties, like other type, things that would help people have first dibs and like repeat customers and things. So there's a lot of opportunity, and I've got my eyes on stuff as it's coming in and just being like, man, I've never seen that card, or it's pretty cool. So
that's awesome. Well, we're excited for you, Ty. I need to come visit you sometime soon. So
yes, you do.
I was in Atlanta last year. I didn't get to see, so it'll be fun. Come down to Cards HQ and we can hang out. So just make sure you have some good Billy Butlers in stock, okay?
Are you guys going to be open like later during, like if the Braves are home, for example? Are you going to be open later?
That's a great question. I don't know if they'll like flex hours or anything. I guess they're going to look to maximize the opportunity no matter what, right? Yeah, security is a huge thing. I mean, they're putting a lot into security around it too, obviously. So it's just
my credit card's dream scenario is me walking out of Truist Park after a win, having had like say 10 beers, and just wandering towards Cards HQ with a post-game buzz going.
Yep. It's walkable.
Yeah.
Or at least Uberable, but it is walkable. It's
credit accepted.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, great. Well, thanks, Ty. Thanks for sharing. We're excited for you. And if you ever are at Cards HQ, make sure you say hi to Ty, because he's
please do.
The coolest spitballer here. So, all right, let's jump into the next topic. This next one, we have some would you rathers. I know Chris has one. I have a few. And my first would you rather is going to be 2 players who were both young phenoms for the Cleveland Indians. And those players are Francisco Lindor and Jose Ramirez. If you had to buy one of them, which one are you taking and why? I have my thoughts, but I want to start with you, Jeff. I can see you're thinking down there. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I was waiting for a Grady Sizemore, Travis Hafner.
Now you're speaking my language.
But thinking about this, would you rather? It shouldn't be, but in this case, it's easy for me. I would take Lindor. He's been overlooked lately, even with his move to the Mets. But I think he's in a more consumer-friendly environment. He's in a place where a lot of eyes are on him. And despite having a so-called off year last year, he still was a 30-30 guy. And I feel like being in New York and succeeding there is really going to help him. Nothing against Jose Ramirez, but Cleveland just doesn't get the eyeballs or the collectability. So I'm going with Lindor.
Okay. Chris, what are your thoughts?
This is a really good pairing. It's tough because these are both like kind of war darlings that are just generally ignored in the hobby. Ramirez is pretty interesting, right? Because his rookie card situation is so unusual. Like I don't think he has no Bowman first, right?
Nope, no Bowman first, no Bowman Chrome rookie. He has a Topps Chrome rookie. He has a Topps flagship, a Bowman paper, and a finest, and that's about it.
Yeah, and his rookie auto selection is pretty limited too. Whereas,
yes, he has a heritage autograph because he's in the box set with Mookie and DeGrom, high number. Okay. But yeah,
man, it's tough. I would say, if I'm choosing which player to invest in, I agree with Jeff. I would go with Lindor just because he plays in New York, and shortstop is the more exciting position. Age wise, I would think it was Lindor a little bit younger as well.
1 year younger. This was Jose Ramirez's age 30 season, and it was Lindor's age 29 season this last year. So it'll be 30 and 31 next year. That's like a non-factor.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, I lean Lindor, but there's something really intriguing about the fact that Jose Ramirez has such a limited number of like top cards to go after, that there's like the funnel to them is going to be narrower. Where like Lindor he's got his 2012 Bowman Chrome autos?
Lindor has a 2011 Bowman Chrome autograph, and he has a 2010 Bowman Chrome first autograph that's a USA card with a sticker. Yeah. So he has 2 first Bowman Chrome autos. Yeah. So his rookies are actually kind of confusing. I think he actually has And he was one of those he was actually a top 10 pick. So he has a ton of prospect cards, tons of prospect cards. And that's kind of when Topps hit their stride and just said, let's just print them all in, like Bowman Sterling and Bowman, all these different random sets. So
yeah. So he's got a lot of noise. And yeah, I think the 2010 is Team USA with a sticker. From what I've seen online, it seems like that one people want the 2012. Is that or 2011?
But no one, there's a gold 2010 with a sticker for less than $1,000 in eBay. No one wants it. Right.
Okay, so gun to my head, if I had to choose, I would probably say Lindor. But there is something really intriguing about like a red ink Jose Ramirez Heritage Auto, just because there's so few top Ramirez cards. But I'm going to agree with Jeff and say Lindor.
Okay, Ty.
Yeah, that was my like gut reaction was Lindor of the two, and I don't know why, but there's like some kind of a little bit of a je ne sais quoi about Lindor. Like I just feel like generally I've heard more buzz between fantasy football, fantasy baseball, and cards and other things over the years that more people are just periodically hyping Lindor than I ever hear with J-Ran. Like I don't. All I ever hear about Jose Ramirez is he's underappreciated. And people sort of just look at it and are like, yeah, he's in Cleveland. He's underappreciated. Probably won't change unless he's out of there and goes to a big market. So, whatever. But like they're very close. This is a great comparison. Statistically, they're very close. Career home runs, they're just one different. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, yeah. I'm about to challenge
Scott,
some of these.
Yeah.
Scott,
here's one other thing I would just say real quickly is Lindor is a Gold Glove defender, and I feel like the defense stays with a lot of guys as they age. Like they age with the defense to some extent. Not that they necessarily are going to win a Gold Glove later, and maybe shortstop's a little bit tougher position because you have to be pretty nimble, but that's more consistent and more predictable in the WAR numbers to be generating that every year, that your offense can, fluctuate a little bit. So I feel like there's just a little bit more of a higher floor with that in terms of just the pure WAR statistic with Lindor. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but that was a little bit of like a gut feel too.
Scott, I wanted to ask you, I keep hearing about how well Jose Ramirez does in MVP races, which he does. What can you give me his top 10 and top 5?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. I have a bunch of tabs open, ready to share my thoughts on this topic. I like both players. I want to say that up front, and I literally go back and forth. If I had to pick one, that might be more valuable. I don't know if it's Lindor, but we'll look at it real quick. So, can you see my screen? Can I make this a little bit bigger so it's easier to see? Command. So here is Jose Ramirez versus Francisco Lindor. Again, it's not like Ramirez is that much older. Baseball Reference WAR does not like Lindor as much as Fangraphs WAR. Lindor's Fangraphs WAR is about 47.5, and his Baseball Reference WAR is 42.7. Okay, but I want to talk about Ty discussed the shortstop position versus the third base position, and I want to point out with Jose Ramirez, if we go to his Baseball Reference page, if we scroll down, he is a good defensive third baseman. It's hard to produce a lot of defensive WAR at third base. He's been great. But if we go to Lindor, he's just been great. 12.1 defensive WAR in his career. He's won 2 Gold Gloves. I think he has a Platinum Glove. Yeah, he has 1 Platinum Glove. And Fangraphs defensive metrics love him. Outs above average loves him. But we can look at Jose Ramirez, just a better bat consistently. They both are switch hitters. They both are from Cleveland. They're both, very similar that way. I do want to point out Francisco Lindor, since the integration era. Oh, that's not it. That's actually his Baseball Savant. Where'd it go? Here it is. Since integration era is third all time through his age 29 season in F4 since the integration. So like the 1940s.
That's shortstop.
For shortstops, not ever, but only behind Cal Ripken Jr. and Alex Rodriguez, ahead of Ernie Banks. So it's one of those things where he's kind of being slept on, but at the same time, do you think there's something there with Ramirez being a one-team player? He's going to be loved in Cleveland forever, and that always helps with resale value, even if it is a smaller market team like Cleveland. So with that all being said, do you still feel the same way, or do you feel slightly different?
Well, I mean, we just saw an example of that with Joe Mauer being a one city player, didn't put up huge counting stats overall, but had a great peak. I don't know. I think if Ramirez can really get those counting stats high, then I'm sure that'll help him. But but what about his MVP finishes? Because I know that's a huge thing when it comes to Hall of Fame voting. I just feel like if he was anywhere but Cleveland, he would be more appreciated now.
He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 top 10 MVP finishes in the last 7 years. So 6 out of 7 years, he's top 10 in MVP voting. Lindor he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as well. Top 10, only one top 5. J-Ram's been close to the MVP multiple times. Yeah. He's been really good. And he's had some big years. Like this year, he had 39 home runs, 34 stolen bases, the 151 OPS plus. That's pretty crazy. So he has those peaks and he has that potential. This last year, he actually didn't have a great year and still had a good year. So very similar players statistically, and they were in the same organization, played together. So it's an interesting situation. For me, if I had to pick one, I actually agree with you, Chris. I really enjoy the lack of rookie cards for Jose Ramirez. So it's very enticing.
Yeah, it just seems like whatever money would be going into these two players, it would be more focused in for J-Ram than it would be for Lindor, for sure.
J-Ram punching Tim Anderson was the best thing that's ever happened to his card values, ironically.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, well, that was my would you rather. So you have one too, Chris. What's your would you rather?
Yeah, my would you rather isn't for players, it's for specific cards. So would you rather a first Bowman Chrome gold auto or a Topps Chrome red refractor rookie non-auto? Yeah, pick any player. Which of those two cards?
Give us numbers, what they're out of.
Oh, sure. The gold's going to be out of 50, and for the most part, the Topps Chrome reds are going to be out of 5.
So let's say Ronald Acuna Jr.
Okay, great example. Yeah,
Ronald Acuna Jr. gold, or are you taking the red? I know what I would do, but I will not go first.
Okay.
Ty.
If it's investment wise, I'm probably edging out into the gold, the Bowman gold. And for a few reasons, it's the golds in particular are just super iconic. It is the Bowman first auto. There's enough sales of those too. Like the reds might not ever come up. And sometimes people get kind of skittish around that. They're like, I don't really know what to value this at. If there's no really good comps, you could, let's say you're in a scenario where you need to put that card to auction for some reason, you might just get crushed if people are, not sure what to go for it. Like, and I don't think they quite have the pedigree. I really like the reds. In Acuna's case, you're talking about color match, which, it's just a nice bump in that scenario. But I'd go for the gold, the Bowman gold.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
if you had to guess, would you guess the prices would be close? I'm not even sure. I've never seen an Acuna red sell, so I really don't know.
I would guess they would not be close at all.
I'm trying to look up right now.
Personally,
wow. For somebody to say they're not going to be close, now I don't even know which way Scotty's going to go. Yeah, I thought it was a lot closer. I'm with Teapot on this, that it's closer. I would lean more towards the gold because of the Bowman Chrome first being sort of the top of the heap right now. But man, a red out of 5, and when you think about an Acuna out of 5, yeah, you just don't see them. So I could see the liquidity reason for wanting to go with the Bowman Chrome gold. But man, to have one of only 5 rookie cards of a player's premium rookie, Topps Chrome, that would be hard to turn down. So I don't know. I feel like that they'd probably be pretty close. I'm interested to hear what Scott says about them not even being close, but I feel like they'd be close. I would still lean towards the Bowman first gold, though.
Okay.
Maybe I was being a little dramatic, and I tend to be dramatic at times. But for me, it's not close in regards to, like, if you're looking at an investment, the gold, you have to take it every single time. Have to take it. For me, like, that is the card that you want. I'm actually looking at recent sales. The last true gold Acuna sold for, that isn't a BGS 10, sold for $16,500 in September. And then I can't find a true red that's recent, but in October, so 2 weeks later, there was a fixed price red shimmer auto from Topps Chrome, BGS 9.510, that sold for $10,000. So that's the autograph. I would imagine that the base
shimmer,
red,
though.
but yeah,
like
I think they'd be similar. I think they'd be similar.
The wave, yeah.
And so I think that you're going to have like anywhere from a 20 to 100% premium on the Bowman Chrome Gold, personally.
Okay.
So I'm looking at, and it's not even the Bowman first, obviously, with Ohtani, his Bowman Chrome rookie gold auto number to 50 in a BGS 910 auto last fall, September 21st, sold for $27,600, and his red refractor from Topps, just not update Topps, pitching in a PSA 10 did a hair shy of 40,000.
Wow. So what for more?
But that's that's not his, it's not his Bowman first. It's not a Bowman first. It's a rookie gold auto.
But his Bowman
grade.
for Ohtani, that Bowman, that image is revered. So
it's what was that, the pitching one, Ty, or was that the hitting one?
The pitching one.
So that one, yeah. Technically, that is his first Bowman Chrome auto.
Let's look up a different player.
We usually look at it.
Yeah.
Let's look up Julio Rodriguez. No, let's look up Corbin Carroll. Corbin Carroll just happened. We can find a Corbin Carroll red. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Corbin Carroll red, Topps Chrome. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to do this together.
All right. Yeah, let's do it. There is always like a part of me that's like, that's numbered out of 5 and I want it. Because I like Ty, you were saying you may never see it again.
Yeah. Yeah, that goes back to what Ty was saying. Yeah, you may never see it again, but if you have to get rid of it, it might be hard to get your money back. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword there with the rare.
Here's the red PSA 10 sold for $2,200. And then if we go to,
it's cheap, to be honest, considering
that
what
does
we're
seem
seeing.
cheap, but with the influx of 2023 rookies probably is going to skew all of that whole class back to their Bowman first by a lot. Oh.
Yeah,
4,900 for the gold. But like you said, how old is this data? Let's go to the newest data. 2,700. So it's within $500. But again, there's a sale a month prior for $4,000. When was this sale? This was in December. This was in December. So about a week apart, about double.
Okay.
Who's a player?
About 50% more. Interesting.
We can't do Bryce Harper because his red is at a 25. Arenado's not in Topps. It could be Manny Machado. We wouldn't find any sales. Our first one's probably Aaron Judge. Let's find Judge. Judge is the best comparison.
Yeah, it's got to be someone after, like, I guess 15. Because even Machado's red is at a 25.
2017.
When's Judge's first Bowman Chrome? Was that 2015?
2013.
2013. So he's got 4 years in between there.
He's a good example. We got to find one. Anyways, you guys can keep talking while I look this up. But I would take the Bowman Chrome Gold. If it was a blue or anything like that, I would take the red. And if you're a collector and you pick the red, that actually makes perfect sense because you may never see the red again. And you're always going to have a chance at a gold. So in like the collector's mind, I think that actually might be what keeps them within a lower percentage than I thought it was going to be, because it's the collectors. If it's a really big player, they don't want to miss out on that card forever. So maybe that's the thought process.
Yeah, the guy we were actually, Jeff and I were looking at these two cards was Devers. We were looking at a Bowman Chrome Gold and then a Topps Chrome Red. And the color match for the Red Sox player was pretty enticing. It was tough.
The 2018 set did a very good job with their parallels too. The red is saturated with red. It's really cool image. So
the Tatis, I'm looking at Fernando Tatis Jr.
Oh yeah, there we go.
I have his. It's a BGS 9.5 Auto 10. Last July 2nd, on PWCC did 7.8K.
Okay.
For the gold, and I have his red wave, which I know is not the same. It's not as revered, and maybe causes issues for the red. Is sold in a PSA 10 about a month and a half later for 2.82K.
Okay,
so that's a huge difference.
It is. I would say that the pure red
waves are running at about half of the gem red, the true red. So even that would be cheaper.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean that's So it's all right. So definitely the gold is going to be your more expensive card. But
so this is hard though, because there's less examples of this in the past than we realize, right? Like pre-2000, when did they change from 25 to 5? I think that was in 20. It was not 2014, 2015, we'll say.
It might be 15, yeah.
2015 is, I think, the standard of when we have the traditional Topps Chrome Rainbow moving forward.
And
that's
update, it was still 25.
That's the problem, is updates all out of 25s. You can't compare Juan Soto because it's not the same thing.
His Tatis's Sapphire BGS 10 in October last year did 8 flat on eBay.
Sapphire Red?
Sapphire Red 5.
Wow.
Yeah. I do think that you need to you're going to have a harder time selling the red for what you think it's worth.
Yeah.
There was a guy on Instagram, and he had a Nolan Arenado 2010 Bowman Chrome first red refractor out of 5. Not autographed. It was just the base. Yeah. It was the base refractor. You know what I'm saying? And he wanted to, I reached out to him so many times on that card, and he wanted like 3.5K, and nobody would buy it. Yeah. But the red Arenado goes for like 20 to 30K, the auto. And there's something about the non-auto. I understand it's a completely different thing, not a rookie. I understand, but I think sometimes there's something about like the Bowman Chrome, and it's annoying, but it's hard. So for me, if I was investing, I would take the gold. If I was collecting, the red actually makes a lot of sense because you may never see it again as a personal collector.
Right. Agreed.
Yeah. Good one.
So I'd take the gold. What are you taking, Ty?
I think it was unanimous. I think
we all agree gold.
Collector, but that's where I was going earlier. Is from a collector card perspective, I'd go with the red.
Yeah, especially the color match, depending what year it is, how the image looks. I feel like there's some variables there. In general, I agree with Scott completely. You'd want to go with the gold, but there are some individual cases where you may pick the red.
Here's actually a true situation from my hypocritical mouth, but the 2014 Topps Update Mookie Betts. It has a clear out of 10. I paid a lot of money for that clear, more so than I paid for the gold within a year. So, but the thing is, he doesn't have chrome refractors. He doesn't have the one-of-one's never been pulled. So like it really is like his best flagship rookie card, in my opinion. And so, but that proves that people are willing to pay for rookies more than the gold. So I even did it.
Yeah.
As a collector. So I'm a
dirty hypocritical mouth.
But we'll see. I'm placing a bet.
And as you come to players who are collected more, Scott, like Betts, who is collected more, those lower number rookie card parallels are sought after. So then that gap could close pretty quickly.
I know a guy who bought a BGS 9.5 of that card and paid more than I did, like a couple months later, and then he bought a gold for way cheaper. So collectors are irrational.
Yeah, you just never know either. Like little ebbs and flows of a season. You know, that Betts card changed. Some of those Betts prices changed dramatically last year.
Oh, that's how he always is. He has like a great season and then they don't even move. Or he has a 6 WAR season and they drop 30%. It doesn't make any sense. But so I guess I changed my own mind on that, Chris. That's a great question.
That's what a good would you rather does.
Yeah, there's a lot of players where like I've never seen an Acuna red rookie like available anywhere. I think I saw someone on Instagram show it, but that's like it wasn't like up for sale. It was just it existed. But you know,
isn't that crazy? So that brings up another question that I have about autographs, right? This is something I've struggled with. It's sports cards, but one thing that's always bugged me about autograph cards is the fact that they fade. I can't display it. I can't do anything with it. It just sits in a box, and if it doesn't, the autograph just goes away in light. All of that always has worried me about autographs. And there was actually a time when I liked non-autos for that reason. But is that a concern for any of you with autographs? Like, do you think in, let's say, 50 years from now, we have a gold Bowman Chrome autograph and the autograph's faded, it's barely there, because that's what's going to happen to a majority of them because they sit in cases, and you have a red Topps Chrome out of 5. Do you think like that's going to kill the autograph values, or do you think we're just going to accept this once was autographed and so it's better? Like, is there something like how are we going to look at that in the future?
I don't think we're ever going to accept that at one point that autograph looked great, so that card's better. I don't think so. We could probably look up something recently. There were some of those Pujols Bowman Chrome autos were just awesome. Like the last couple of months, faded like into almost gone. So I mean, I would imagine those went for a lot less than a more recent one that I saw up for bids. That the auto looked really good on. But I love autograph cards. But you're right; they like some of them just sit in a box. Yeah, I don't get to look at them as often. I can't put, like you said, I can't put them out because they will slowly over time fade.
I don't display any autos. The only cards I have out is this card, Billy Butler Super, and a few Mookies. That's it. Because I don't dare.
Yeah.
It always makes me sick thinking I damaged my own stuff. Have you ever damaged your own cards? It's a horrible feeling.
Yeah, I don't want to think about that. Don't bring that up. But I do. It also kind of makes me skeptical. Not skeptical is not the right word, but like auto grades on cards. Like I really, I use my own eyes. I don't really care what the grade says because in 10 years it could look vastly different.
Yes.
So I'm more interested in how it looks. I don't look at the auto grade before I buy a card, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to say is I don't display my autos either, but it seems to me, and this may be just anecdotally, but it seems to me that paper cards hold the autos better.
Yes, they do.
Heritage autos just seem to be kind of the way to go. Obviously, we love Bowman Chrome first autos, and that doesn't give you the option, but some of those heritage autos from 10, 15, 20 years ago look absolutely perfect. And Chris had mentioned the Pujols, and that's the first example I think of now that we're 20 years on from those, and some of those are really faded. You'd like to think the technology improved as far as the paper, the Chrome paper that they use to sign on. The pens are probably the same, the markers. So yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell what the future will hold, but I like Scott. I also like the non-auto versions because that's just something you don't worry about.
Yeah. Heritage autographs, I've always loved them for that purpose. There's some cards that literally look like they were signed yesterday. Like literally look like they were signed yesterday, which is pretty cool. And then you'll see some Bowman Chrome autographs that, like even the best ones, you can see slight fading in some of the cursive, and so it's tough. But that's been my beef with autographs for the last few years, to be transparent with you. I actually did a test on my YouTube channel, Scotty B Cards plug. And in that video, I actually got a Bowman Chrome autograph of Cody Johnson from 2005 Bowman Chrome. Something like that. Cody, if you're listening, I ruined your card and I'm sorry, but it was bold. It looked like it was pulled yesterday. Like it looked really good. And I left it on my windowsill for 3 days, or maybe it was a week. It was a week. By the time that week was over, the autograph looked horrendous. And so it does show UV light kills the card. The card.
Just in a week.
Just in a week. I can probably find a before and after somewhere, but it's night and day difference. You wouldn't even think it was the same card. And so it just shows that it's unfortunate. So, All right. Well, any final thoughts before we wrap this up on autographs, Bowman Chromes, any other would you rathers? I can throw another one out if you'd like.
I'll just say, hide your kids, hide your wives, hide your autos. Just put them away.
That's right. Yeah, we love autos. Yeah. Autos are the best, but you got to take care of them, please. In a box, lights off,
Doesn't it just break your heart when you go to a card shop and they're just completely ruined in light? Cards HQ, how are you going to combat that, Ty?
Ooh, that's a good question.
UV cases?
I don't know. I mean, there's not really any direct sunlight coming in on the cases. Not most of them, anyway.
Okay. All right, guys.
That's interesting, Scott. I know that some of the grading companies have talked about using UV protected cases and have been moving in that direction. And so you don't. I mean, it can't be 100% sunproof, but you'd like to think that would help protect a little bit.
So if you wanted to get like a jersey framed, you can get the museum glass that's supposedly like 99.9% UV protectant. And even that makes me nervous to display autographs. And that's the hardest part for me with autos is you just can't enjoy them as much as you'd like. But yeah, we'll see if someone can solve this. I know there are some aftermarket like grading cases, but I'm still not going to put my money on them, and they aren't aesthetically pleasing at all. So it's unfortunate. But all right, well, thanks for tuning in. Let us know in the comments down below what you're thinking on Bowman Chrome Gold versus Red. I was very confident one way, and I'm kind of right in the middle now as a collector and investor on two sides of my brain. But other than that, thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next video.